You're watching News Desk. Let's now take you back live to that press briefing where some persons with disability are communicating why they believe Alban Bagbin doesn't hate persons with disability.
Honorable Wanda, support in disability project and art development. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Richard. Let me reiterate that this video wasn't done yesterday, Sunday. It was done in 2015. And so we can all tell the kind of love he has for the disability. Thank you so much. Okay, let me introduce the people we all see at the high table. So we have, of course, Richard Affair, we all know him. And then we have Honorable Gershon Bedema. Please, let's give it to him. Yes, the former minister, or MP, actually, the former MP. And then we have Damien Basson, yes. So the deputy organizer on Katamanso, right? Thank you so much, sir, for availing yourself. And then we have Joseph Quayle, the chairman branch for Tema West. Thank you so much for also coming. And then we have our own one, Moshe, that is Tema East, executive member of the NDC. Please, he's here. Thank you so much. Okay, so we are going to do the honorable thing, but of course, there's another honorable to do the honorable thing. So I'm going to invite Honorable Gershon Bedema to do a very concise introduction. Please, let's give it to him.
Good morning, our friends from the media. Thank you for honoring this all-important invitation. And thank you for the response within a short period of notice. Honorable ASK Bagbin is a household name. He doesn't need any introduction to many of us. But for the records, I just want to say a few things about Honorable ASK Bagbin, so that for those who don't know, they will know. Honorable ASK, let me give the full name so that the ASK, Alban Sumana Kingsford Bagbin. So it's not Sumani. Some people say Sumani, it's Sumana. Thank you very much. Was born on 24th September 1957 at Sombo in a village called Sombo in the Upper West region of Ghana. He currently serves as the second deputy speaker of the 4th Republican Parliament and is the member of Parliament for Nadoli Kalio in the Upper West region. Bagbin, as is popularly called, is a product of the University of Ghana, Legon, and the Ghana Law School, amongst a host of other academic qualifications. He also holds an executive master's in governance and leadership from GIMPA and an honorary doctorate degree, LLD, from the University of Professional Studies, Accra. And he has received the Best Minister's Award in 2012 and Exclusive Man of Africa 2017 Year Award in Governance. I think you put up your hand for such. Yes. As a prominent practitioner, legal practitioner with a law firm in Accra, Honorable Bagbin ventured into turbulent field of politics in 1992. And on account of his peerless tenure of the Nadoli Kalio seat over the past 25 years, Bagbin is best known today as the father of the house in the Parliament of Ghana. Those of you who have been going there, you know what I'm talking about. He has been through the ranks to the current standing as the second deputy speaker. The first Ghanaian since parliamentary democracy was established in the Gold Coast to have achieved the feat of continuous 25 years in parliament. I say in the history of Ghana. He has also been variously given the label wise man. You know of wise man. And three-star leader. These are some of the accolades. Wise man, three-star leader, and all the accolades you can think of. And holding sway the topmost levels of leadership from 2 terms. He was 2 terms minority leader and 2 terms majority leader. You didn't hear that. 2 terms minority leader, 2 terms majority leader. Between 2001 and 2017 of August House of Parliament. In those positions, Honorable Bagbin led the NDC Parliamentary Caucus to put measures in place to finance the party and all by-elections from 2001 to 2008, and to lead the party to return to power in the year 2009. Hard-working, courageous, frank, and principled to the fault, Honorable Bagbin consuming passion, sorry, I've left my glasses, has always been a champion Ghana's multi-party democracy to create a congenial environment for the total utilization of the human and natural resources of the country. It is with these credentials and many more that I will not allow me to mention that he brings on board his attempt to be the president of Ghana. His tour of the Volta region with his team has raised certain issues that he wants to clarify at this press conference. So your being here is to listen to his side of the story. It might be stated that whilst this story was trending, he was outside the country, and that's why some people might have been asking, why is it that all this time he is not speaking? After that time, he was out of the country. In fact, he has to cut short his assignment outside to come back home to respond to some of these issues. We thank you very much for your time, and we believe that you are going to have the side of the story. We are going to have the side of the story, and the whole country and the world at large will know what it means. It does not mean evil for anybody. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Honorable. I think we can do that again for him. He deserves it. Now, the main reason for which we've all gathered here this morning. The keynote address by Honorable A.S.K. Bagbin. I would want you to listen with rapt attention, then afterwards, you ask all the questions you want to ask. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac. Okay. Good morning to you all, and welcome to our campaign secretariat. On behalf of Team Bagbin, I thank you all for creating space to come to this press conference despite the one-day notice. We are extremely grateful to you all. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you all know why I've called this press conference. The reason is simple. To respond to the criticisms of social media and mainstream media on some alleged statements I may have made during my campaign tour in the Volta region in my bid to become flag bearer of the great National Democratic Congress. First of all, I wish to apologize through you to all Ghanaians for my late response to the issues raised in the media. It is because I had traveled outside the country and not because I was insensitive to the feelings of those who were affected by the misconstruction of what I said and the deliberate misrepresentations by partisan activists for political gain. I decided to cut short my trip and to come personally to address this press conference because of the importance I attach to the issues raised, and to assure all Ghanaians, especially the Ghana Federation of the Disabled, other civil society organizations, and the NDC family, who, by one way or the other, felt offended by my alleged comments, of my respect and support for persons with disability. I render my heartfelt apologies to you all. I want to take full responsibility for the indiscretion in going public with issues that should otherwise be private to the NDC. I have learned that such disclosure could raise emotions among some sections of the Ghanaian society. That notwithstanding, let me use this opportunity to clarify a few issues for the avoidance of doubt and to allay any fears of discrimination or non-inclusive governance when I am elected flag bearer and eventually President of the Republic of Ghana. For the records, I wish to state emphatically that I did not say persons with disabilities are not competent to be appointed to public offices or ministerial positions. Never. I did not say that. What I said was that certain wrong decisions were made in placing or assigning some government appointees. This wrong placement cost the NDC some votes. I cited 3 ministers to illustrate my point and stated that they were all very brilliant and capable persons, but they were assigned to inappropriate ministries. I never questioned the competence of the appointees of the NDC government. To the contrary, I praised them. I only questioned the wisdom in placing 3 of them in some designated ministries. For example, if an appointee of government has a known standing conflict or problem with the people or institution he or she is appointed to oversee, the ultimate result will be the displeasure of such an institution towards the government. If the stakeholders and followers of the institution are that displeased with the government, they are likely not to vote for that government. If I said a particular appointment into the Ministry of Chieftaincy would affect the electoral fortunes of our party, it is not to say that the person appointed is incompetent. It is because there is a standing tradition in our chieftaincy institution that disqualifies that person to oversee chieftaincy affairs and would incur the displeasure of the traditional leaders for the party if the person is appointed to the ministry. It does not and cannot mean that the person in question is not competent to be appointed to any other ministry of state. It also does not and cannot indicate my preference or the custom or tradition that disqualifies the appointed person. What it does mean is that the competence of the appointed person, however unparalleled, should not be the deciding factor in appointing him to the chieftaincy ministry. This is especially so when the chiefs openly aired their objection after the person had been appointed to that ministry. If I said the appointment of a particular person as a deputy minister of education responsible for tertiary education was politically inexpedient, it is not because the person is incompetent for all ministerial appointments. It is because there is a standing conflict between that person and some university lecturers that would make his appointment a source of lecturers' displeasure. I am not by any stretch of imagination saying that the appointed person was incompetent to be a minister of state. No. I am simply saying that the raging conflict will be the basis for incurring the displeasure of the university lecturers, which could dwindle the electoral fortunes of the party. And it did happen in the 2016 general elections. If I said the appointment of a person with special disability in speech to be a minister of communications was politically inexpedient, it does not mean that such a person is incompetent to head any ministry by reason of a special disability. Not at all. As the second deputy speaker of parliament and the longest serving member of parliament, a former minority leader, a former majority leader, and a former minister of state, I have championed several bills and policies in parliament to further the interests of persons with disabilities. I've also worked enormously with persons with disabilities, and I know their capabilities. Currently, I'm a patron of Richard Disability Sports and Educational Foundation. I have also, on countless occasions, personally funded several programs and activities, including the provision of scholarships to persons with disabilities because of my endless affection for the marginalized and my desire to build a free and just society. As a leader, I take full responsibility for this situation and the impressions created. I've reflected deeply on all the comments coming from across a large section of the public and have drawn relevant lessons from them. I want to assure the NDC and the good people of Ghana that my unflinching support for inclusive governance, a key part of the Sustainable Development Goals, is never in doubt. As a social democrat and also a proud Pan-Africanist, I further pledge that when I become president of this country, I will ensure that the needed reforms in our social and governance structures are carried out to provide limitless opportunities for persons with disabilities. These will include huge investments into public education and sensitization against economic and social discrimination, tax incentives and reliefs to create employment in the private sector for persons with disabilities. Indeed, I have elaborate plans for ending all forms of discrimination and creating work to establish an equitable and just society in Ghana. Together, we can create a more inclusive culture of governance and respect for all. I thank you all for the feedback. I want to take the opportunity to encourage everyone to participate in every objective national dialogue to improve the culture of governance in the country. Once again, I thank you all for your time, attention, and sacrifice in attending and listening to this press conference. God bless you. God bless our party, the great NDC. God bless our homeland, Ghana. I thank you for coming. Thank you all.
Thank you so much. I think we can do far better than what we did. Yes.
The president of the doing of the two and the doer of the doings.
Thank you so much. So, very precise to coincide. Now, it's time for you to ask all the questions you've always wanted to ask. And that's what we are going to do. I'll see you. I mean, if you're interested to ask any question, let me see you by hand, and then we'll have your questions so that he will do justice to all of them. So it's time for all the questions you would want to pose. It's time now. All right, so you mention your name and the media house you're coming from. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Kweku Sechidanso. I report for GhanaMPs.com. Leader, I want to find out from you, with what has happened, would we be seeing you asking very critical questions that has to do with your party at the NDC boardroom? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Any other? Okay, your name and where you're coming from.
My name is Emmanuel Kwashi from Ahoto FM, political host. Leader, good morning, and I would like to use this opportunity to find out from you. Have you taken, let me put it in this context, have you taken a step, or have you thought of it, to get in touch with the affected persons? One, I'm referring to Okujato, and then the other people involved. I just want to find out whether you've done that or you are yet to do that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Then the very last one for Honorable to come in, then we'll take the next batch of questions. Thank you. Your name and where you're coming from.
Right. I work with Joy FM. I'm Parker Wilson. Leader, I was a bit confused when you were reading the speech. I don't know, on Rambert, were you seeking to apologize to the PWDs, or you were justifying the comments you made? I want that clarity from you. And the second question is, politically, some say that these comments you made has jeopardized your chances of winning the flag bearership position. What would be your response to that too? Thank you.
All right, thank you. So Honorable will come in and answer all the questions now.
Well, thank you all for good questions you've asked. Definitely, at the boardroom of our party, we're looking at a number of issues. We have admitted that we committed a number of wrongs and we want to right the wrongs. It's important that we all get to know the wrongs we committed so that together we can find solutions in righting those wrongs. If we don't do that, it's possible that in the near future we could be repeating those same wrongs. And so definitely we will be looking at critical issues of restructuring, rebranding, and by all means getting everybody back on board. Doing an inclusive governance shows that you practice an inclusive party politics. The quality of your politics feeds into the quality of your governance. And it's important we all take governance as a serious business. And so we'll be doing that. Yes, on my arrival, I started calling all those I felt would have been hurt by the misconstruction of what I said in the Volta region. I've been able to get in touch with some. I personally apologized to them, even though they said after hearing my voice and what I said, they felt I never offended them. I've not been able to reach to all of them because the numbers are not getting through. It's likely that some are not in the country. But I will continue not only to use the telephone, but also to get in personal touch with them to apologize to them, and to the elders and leaders of my party. I'm doing so because of the importance I attach to our relationships, not because I'm admitting that I've said something wrong. What I did in my speech is to admit that it is not all things that you say in public. That was clear. I apologize for not coming early to clarify the situation. And I gave the reason that I wasn't in the country. I was on an official trip. I also apologize for whatever the misconstruction, misrepresentation, the political might have caused to Ghanaians and to those particular persons. Those are the apologies I rendered. I haven't talked about justifications, no. And so my friend from Joy FM, don't be confused at all. Get it clear. No. Because if you listen to the full text of my presentation, it was not at one place. It was first at Nkwanta, second at Hohoi, third at Ho, fourth at Soakope, and fifth at Keita. And I'm sure if you ask those who listen to me attentively, the questions they raise, my response, they think there's a fresh air of governance in future. I created hope for the people. For Ghana to develop, we need to change the way we do things. And I shared my vision with them. And I provided very simple solutions to some otherwise serious challenges in this country. And it marveled a lot of them, including the chiefs of Volta region. And so I believe all this is done just to try and muddy the waters and undo all the good things that I did in the region. That is all. This is politics in Ghana for you.
Thank you so much for those answers. Let me also say this. A lot of you do sort of massacre his name. The name is Sumana and not Sumani. For those of you who have been saying Sumani, please get it and get it right. It's Sumana. Thank you so much. Let's have the next batch of questions. Okay. The second question hasn't been answered. Okay, repeat it so that he can come in again.
Oh, leader, it was about whether or not the comment would jeopardize your chances of emerging as the flag bearer of the party. Yeah, that's the second question. And if you can provide names of those you contacted, whether Commander Boama or Dr. Selina.
Well, I don't think name calling is advisable. I think we immediately start mentioning names. There are some implications. And people are not enthused about that, so I will not mention the names. But I can assure you that this has rather strengthened my resolve to go for it. I've never seen any president that has got it easy all over the world. It's not only in Ghana. And you know, the greater the risk, the larger the profit. So, I'm more than fired up to go ahead and win the flag bearer race.
Right, thank you so much. The next batch of questions. Please, your name and your media house.
My name is Juka. I work with City FM and City TV. Leader, many people have characterized your comments as a battle between political correctness and speaking the truth to the party in order to take make a good decision going to 2020 with regards to your point of view. at this point that you have called this press conference and explained your comments in proper context, are you sacrificing the truth that you seek to speak to the NDC as a party on the altar of political correctness? And then secondly, the NDC at a press conference receiving one of the, I think that of the letter of intention of President Mahama was stated, ex-President Mahama was stated that people would be cautioned or the party would take certain disciplinary measures for some of these comments. I want to find out from you, has the party contacted you with regards to the comments that we are having this press conference over? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Rashid. I work for Rainbow Radio. There are some individuals who are indicating that you're on a mission to destroy the NDC because you know your prospects are slimmer. Secondly, I want to personally find out whether you have personal scores to settle with former President John Dramani Mahama, because it has been established that you personally criticize his governance and style of leadership. Is it that he's a threat to your campaign and your prospects, so you are trying to sabotage his campaign so that he will look bad in the eyes of Ghanaians? Then finally, are you sure you will be able to be elected as the flag bearer and represent the NDC as a political party in 2020? And how are you going to unseat the MPP?
Thank you. The very last question before he comes in.
All right, thank you very much. My name is Daniel Nkansa-Kwame. I report for NJT. I would like to find out, Honorable, in your statement, I think you've rendered an apology which the media is going to carry out ultimately to the people. But I would like to find out from you, when you make mention of the fact that these individuals have institutional problems, but so doing, they cannot lead such an institution for success, and at the end of the day, the success of the NDC government during the 2020-2016 elections. What kind of grudge between these individuals and institutions are you talking about? And did you make the party hierarchy aware that appointing these individuals to help such sensitive institutions must cost the party in the 2016 elections? What are the steps that you took in making sure that these individuals weren't appointed to such sensitive institutions? And I would like to find out from you, I think, when are you going back to the voter region to render an apology to them too as well? Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The last questioner, I'm not sure you listened to me. If you did, you might not have been raising these issues. I don't know what apology I have to render to the people in the water region. I don't know where that is coming from. I didn't also talk about institutional problems. No. You'll be given a copy of the write-up so that you can go through it. But you must know that the governance that we are running is led by an executive president. In fact, the government is defined in the Constitution as the body having the executive authority. And that body is defined to be the president. So it's the president who takes the decision. The president can decide to consult and not to consult. And legally is entitled to do so. It's only when the Constitution says in consultation or on the advice of that is bound to do so. The Constitution talks about prior approval of Parliament before appointment. So those things are there to guide every president. But clearly, when you read the 1992 Constitution, we have a whole chapter on directive principles of state policy. How this country is expected to be led and governed, and what the vision of this country is. It's clearly stated in the directive principles of state policy. And the court has given judicial interpretation to these things. So we have a lot to guide us in our governance. I heard some Ghanaians saying what my friend had just stated on the issue of political correctness versus the truth. This is where we find ourselves as a country. We have defined political correctness to mean something, in my respectful view, dishonorable. I don't know where falsehood can ever set you free. The good book, the Holy Bible, and all the religious books are very, very clear as to what can set you free. It is only the truth. If you don't create a clean and decent society, there is no way you can expect any seed that is sown to ever yield the expected fruits. And it's important that as a people, we start looking at the quality of governance in this country. Very important. And so yes, it could be that I went beyond the line that has been defined in the society as political correctness. That could be the situation I'm facing now. But I'm one of those who I believe is nationalist in my focus. I need a party as the vehicle to get through to the national stage to be able to implement my vision. And so I respect and I will go by all the rules and regulations of my party and the guidance of the wisdom of the elders and the executives of the party. But when the General Secretary referred to some people, that, in my humble view, did not include me. He did not also say that they have crossed the red line. He was also saying that if anybody so does, the person will definitely go through the legal process. I do not have personal cause. I don't have personal cause. No. In fact, in my presentation in the Volta region, I have dwelt a lot on exhorting our people to eschew hatred, ill will, bad motives, because these are not healthy. Even they are a danger to our individual health. I remember repeating it from venue to venue and from audience to audience, that in our relationship with each other, we should not harbor hatred for any person. It's not healthy at all. And so there is no way that I myself, and that is why if you ask my colleagues in Parliament, after they criticize me, they come, some are a bit reluctant to come close to me. I usually walk to them and say, look, I don't have any problem with you taking a decision that is not in support of what I'm doing. Because I have taken the decision to contest. You can take a decision not to contest. Or you can also take a decision to contest. I don't expect to get 100% support. That is abnormal. The Constitution is clear. You just need more than 50 plus 1. That's what you need. It is when you are in power that you are able to clear the minds of all the doubting Thomases that you mean well. I have been in this game since 1992. And I can tell you, when I was a minority leader, what has happened is chicken feed. But I went through them. And in those days, few ever showed up as members of the great NDC party. A lot took cover, but we soldiered on and we won the battle. As I said, this one is inspiring me to do more. And I listened to the wise counsel of our elders, and I've heard so many people applaud my efforts. And I'm known. I'm not a new face. People know what I stand for. I will never lie myself into office. I won't. If I'm not a president of Ghana, I will still be committed to the cause of Ghana and do what I'm doing. If I'm not elected the flag bearer of the NDC, I will give 100% support to whoever is elected the flag bearer. Those who are saying that I am on a mission to destroy the NDC party will very soon revise their notes. By the time I end my talk of this country, the whole game would have changed. And I can assure you that I'm more than confident that I'm winning the battle. They can continue to market me every day. And that is how people will get to know me more and get in touch with me, and they will get to learn the vision that I have for this country. So I'm happy that this has happened, even though it has hurt some people, and so I had to apologize for that. But anybody listening to my voice will know that what the interpretations have been given are completely by political activists who are trying to exact some gains. And I'm sure that it's the impact I made in the water regime that has led to this. And you can go to water regime to investigate, attend the place around. And they saw that a lot could be done for this country with little resources. And that we could earn many more or much more money from other areas than cocoa, gold. We have. But we are looking far when the solution is just within. And so I shared all those things with them. It's unfortunate that it was only this that was picked, but not the policy outlines are laid, the proposals are made of getting an inclusive government, and I believe it and I'm committed to it. Politicians alone cannot develop Ghana.
Sure.
You need the other stakeholders. You need the traditional leaders, the chiefs, the queen mothers, the religious leaders. You need civil society, and we need to strengthen them. We need to work together. Politicians alone are not the patriots. To be honored, there are others that have done a lot for Ghana, yet they are not receiving the necessary recognition or rewards. Please mention Tete Kwashi. Tete Kwashi. The whole country is riding on the back of Tete Kwashi. What recognition has been given you? What recognition? And many people don't know who Tete Kwashe is. Even look at his roundabout. Look at the state in which it is. It even came belatedly. Go to the hospital, Tete Kwashe Hospital. It should have been a tertiary hospital. Tertiary hospital. Many people don't know where he came from. I was at the first cocoa farm he established. It's still there. We have a lot of advantages, both comparative and competitive, and we all know them. We can take advantage of them, focus on that, and earn much more foreign exchange than we are earning from gold and cocoa. If we are earning anything from gold at all, I doubt. So my brother, I'm not interested in settling scores with any person. I have always stated that there's enough in the world for everybody. And I mean it, there's enough in the world for everybody. And that what is mine is mine. Nobody can take it away from me.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Because of our time, anyone at all who would want to ask a question should join that queue. There's a queue over there. Please, you can be part of that queue. And this time around, please, let's be brief. A question per media house. Thank you so much. Your name and where you're coming from.
My name is Evelyn Tema. I report for TV3 and 3 FM. Now, leader, I want to find out, you said under former President Mahama government, and did you at any point in time draw his attention to the appointment of these persons that you have mentioned to those institutions? And because I know in governance there is a room for reshuffle and all that, did you at any point in time draw his attention to that? Thank you.
Okay, so let me remind all of us that let's concentrate on the reason for which we are gathered here. Let's concentrate on that. Thank you so much.
Right, my name is Eric Mawena Egbert. I work with Star FM. Leader, 94 MPs from the NDC minority in Parliament have pledged their support to former President Mahama in the lead up to your flag bearership race. Does this worry you in any way in the lead up, looking also at the overwhelming support that seems to have characterized former President Mahama's intention to contest again for the flag bearership position? And finally, what would you say to others who say a partnership with former President Mahama is the best bet for the NDC come 2020?
All right, thank you. The very last one before he comes in. All right, I think that ends it. Thank you.
Please, I'm not here for former President Mahama. Let the people decide. My colleagues in Parliament, I'm answering that question because of something. In my speech in the Volta region, I used the term young MPs. And some has taken issue with that phrase. When I use the term young MPs, I was not referring to age, because a number of the first-timers in Parliament are way, way older than me. So I couldn't have been talking about their age. I'm talking about in Parliament. The issue I raised was the experience of the party in the 2003 presidential primaries and the experience of the same party in the 2006 presidential primaries. And so I said, some of them, having gone through it, I was the opposition leader at that time. the official opposition leader of this country is the minority leader. That's the official opposition leader. I occupied that position at that time, and I know what happened. Some of them did not experience it. That was the reference. I was not talking about those who have just come to Parliament now, but those who were not at that time actively involved in politics to have gone through that experience. So I was urging my audience not to let us repeat the mistakes of those eras. And I drew the attention to the fallouts, and that if not because of the fallouts of the 2003 presidential primaries, we could have won the 2004 elections. As a result of that, we had to amend our constitution to now give 24 months for it to be able to regroup after the healing process and reconciliation to be able to contest the elections. And that's why we now have 2 months to the national election. So I was sharing, 2 years, sorry. I was sharing those experiences with them. And I said that some of these 94 MPs did not go through that experience. And so they could do whatever they are doing, because I learned that bitter lesson and I will not repeat it. And I respect their views, and I still interact with them. We talk a lot. And some of the people I mentioned in my submission are very close to me, and we still work together as of today. And so when I called some, they said people were trying to build mountains from what? Ant hills. And so they did not buy into the propaganda, and they did not see that I actually attacked, insulted, or offended them. So I will leave it at that. The rest is for the other aspirants to challenge me, and let's see at the end of the day what the delegates say, and we will all regroup to win 2020 and save Ghana from becoming once again a failed state. His Excellency Jerry John Rawlings took us off that status some years ago. Ghana was described as a failed state, and the literature is there for all of you to read. And so let's leave it to that. I think this general submission has answered the rest. It's for His Excellency, former president, to decide what to do. And he is entitled to do that. I don't see that the former president is disqualified. No, he is not disqualified. He is entitled. Unless pronounced by a court of law, he is entitled to contest. And I welcome him to the contest. And I can assure him that I will continue to do the right thing, because the right information must be given to Ghanaians and our party members to be able to make right decisions to further the development of this country. That I am committed to. And no amount of intimidation can take me off that commitment.
Thank you so much. The last time I checked, we had exhausted all our questions. Thank you so much for coming, but we would have someone to do the vote of thanks for us, and I would want to call Mrs. Jamila once again to do the vote of thanks before our closing.
So that was the second Deputy Speaker of Parliament and aspiring flag bearer of the NDC, Alban Bagbin there, bringing some clarity or responding to criticisms over some comments he made to party communicators in the Volta region. Well, he's apologized for his late response, indicating that he was out of the country. But due to the sensitive nature of this issue and the importance he attaches to it, he decided to cut his trip short and come and address the issue. Now, he says that there's been some misconstruction and deliberate representation or deliberate misrepresentation of what he told party communicators. But he does accept that going public with issues that should be private is what has caused him this particular situation he's dealing with. I will bring you more in this analysis and also some interviews as well regarding this particular issue and his apology of late response, however, indicating that he's been misconstrued. Stay with us here on the JoyNews channel for more on this in subsequent bulletins. I'm Benis Abubedu. Thanks for your company.